I regret that in the most recent years I haven't been at ENO as much as I would like to, and I don't think I've been a good enough supporter of Martyn Brabbins, but I very much remember his Rhinegold and the extraordinary way in which he allowed the narrative to come to the front. The narrative, Richard Jones's production, so much better in many ways than his earlier production at Covent Garden. And the Ring Cycle was the first thing I ever saw as an opera. As a child, I saw it in ENO in English. It was extraordinary. I got the records, and then I thought they were actually a bit dull, and I put them on 78 because they played a little faster. I don't think that's terribly. I don't know. I think Brabbins' musicality was very much to the fore. There were instrumental lines which popped out, which I hadn't expected, and for that, I think he requires a lot of congratulations, and but also for allowing the narrative to come to the fore, and so it's a great shame that today he's resigned from the board of the ENO and from the ENO itself. It's in response to the Arts Council's cuts in 2022 last year, very much on the wave of Nadine Dorries's control of the digital culture, media and sport brief, and the Arts Council cut 100% of the £12 million which it had previously been giving to the English National Opera, unless it relocated elsewhere out of London or closed. And a new deal was arranged. A sort of temporary deal has been arranged, which stops a lot of that. And you will have seen in London that the Colosseum is now becoming an alternative venue for travelling musicals. So second-rate scenery, first-rate orchestra, first-rate performance, but travelling scenery. And we've seen My Fair Lady, 42nd Street, and it's okay, but it could be better. We need an opera company in English. I think we very much need that idea, and we're measured today as everything else disappears. I think we have to be measured by our cultural contribution. And while one can say, oh yes, the opera doesn't do much, it's for the rich, it's a training ground for singers. And it's a training ground for people who can sing opera, can sing in musicals, they can function, they have the right qualities to get their voice over that enormous orchestra. It's the athletics championship of the musical world. And the severe cuts in both the orchestra, which is promised, and of the chorus, which we've already seen. The ensemble is so small in the ENO. It's absurd for the ENO to try and do the sort of productions that it used to do. It's not possible anymore. And Martyn Brabbins has said in his letter Resignation, he's called the Arts Council a Philistine organisation. He's quite right. The Arts Council is one of the two bastard puppies, the other one being Ofcom, managed by the Digital Culture, Media and Sport. Whether the committee or the Secretary of State, it doesn't make very much difference. He now joins Jonathan Sumption as a person who has resigned from the board, from the company. And it doesn't really matter what he's done in the past. He will be remembered for this resignation. And I think this will lead to the destruction of ENO as we know it. All we are seeing from the digital culture, media and sport is destruction and lip service to whatever is making money. It's very much in the hands of cheap production, and where is the quality gone? We are running out of quality work, and I think that's something we should moan about. I think it's something we should. It's never going to come back, is it? It's never. Once it's gone, you can't create an opera company from scratch. I spent 2 years or so taking operas around the country, and it was really, really hard work. And yet we've got 2 opera companies in London that are there, and there to showcase the great operas of the past, to encourage and try to develop that art form for the modern day. I worked for the Royal Opera House for a while, years and years ago, writing libretti. I was involved in a thing called the Garden Venture, and I thought that was very important. We've got to develop new talent, not only new singers, new players, new orchestras. We've got to develop new writing, both new libretti and new compositions. We need to be... and one of the things that ENO did so brilliantly was to commission new translations and to find ways to reimagine these old works and to make the words pop out of the score for us. And some great librettists who have worked on translations for ENO. And if ENO dies, that is it. That's gone. And I think that would be a great, great loss to our national artistic production. A great loss.